Hello, my mimics, and welcome back to the Mimic Commentary. This should be part 7. My character looks a little different than last time because we did some farming off-screen, and I'm using a different weapon. The reason why we did farming off-screen is because there was a lot of items that the Godric soldiers dropped that I wanted us to get the lore for, but I didn't want to have to, have you guys have to go through that. I also got enough runes to be able to buy these 2 cookbooks from the merchant who is found over here. So we're going to do a little bit of item reading, which is everyone's favorite, and then we are going to fight the Knights Cavalry on this bridge and go south towards this direction. We already explored up there. Yeah, so that's what we're going to do. So let's look at our crafting kits first. We originally got hopefully everything's still here. We got the Armorer's Cookbook that can make exalted flesh. This is from General Radon's army. And then we also got a Nomadic Warrior's Cookbook, which is a record of crafting techniques left by roaming nomad warriors, contain knowledge for surviving in the face of utter scarcity. I say that a lot. I keep bringing it up, that utter scarcity line, but I kind of think it's important for something very late in the game. So let's look at the Beast Lore Pot and the Exalted Flesh. We can actually make some Exalted Flesh. Exalted Flesh temporarily boosts physical attack, and you need Roa Fruit, red Roa Fruit, a lump of flesh from carnivorous beasts, hefty beast bone from large beasts, and Arteria leaves, which are exceedingly rare to find. Those are the leaves that are swollen with thick veins, and they have a pulse to them. If we look at it, yeah, we can see kind of it looks a little fiery. It's got the red tint to it. Red's going to be important. We got an item to talk about red. It looks like the bone at the top is tied together by some sort of string. So maybe this is like 2 pieces of meat that have been tied together and then cooked together. So if we were to say what this all is supposed to taste like, you have a fruit to give it a sweet flavor. You get a lump of flesh to stick onto 2 bones, and then the blood in these leaves to temporarily boost physical attack. A lump of animal flesh pickled in a medicinal solution mixed with fiery spices. So there you go. I guess the Arteria leaf is the medicinal solution, and the spices is the Roa fruit? Maybe. Considered a delicacy in the Badlands, this invigorating repast was for exclusive benefits of those who they deem heroes. In the intro cutscene, we learned about Horalu, who was skewered onto maybe a tree or something with a lion head next to him, and he was the chieftain of the Badlands. And we also we were able to buy axes, and we learned about the Lord of the Long March. So perhaps the chieftain of the Badlands was this Lord of the Long March. Maybe that's the case. That's why we can exalted flesh there. Then we also have the Beast Lore Pot. This needs just beast blood, hefty beast bone, but a ritual pot that we don't have yet. It's much larger than our crack pots. It looks like it has handles on it. And the circles on the front of the pot actually are the same. You know what? I'll just cast the spell so we can see it. You can see in the heal spell, it's the same as those. And the heal spell comes from the 2 fingers. The 2 fingers have high hopes for the Tarnished, that even if they should be wounded, even should they fall, they will continue to fight for their duty. So by looking at the Beast Lore Pot, we can tell that this is part of the 2 Fingers religion, which is also connected to the Golden Order and the Erd Tree and Grace in some way, yet we're not entirely sure. There's a lot of contradictory information about the Tarnished. The Tarnished coming to the Golden Order would violate it and such, as per Melina, so we'll look forward to what all that means. It has some red, dark red around it, and some shadows leaving the top. Craftable item prepared using a ritual pot. Enchanted with an assassin incantation. So, an assassin of the 2 fingers, perhaps. The illusion lures in beasts into attacking it. This effect does not change even during combat. When I get a ritual pot, we'll make these and then see what they look like. I want to look at the Roa raisins for a second, because we can make the Roa fruit, or we make the exalted flesh with the Roa raisins. I guess just Roa fruit, and then we can make the raisins. Humans cannot digest Roa fruit, but Torrent has a taste for them. There's a little spirit essence coming from it. So perhaps, the Arteria leaf is probably the spice and the roa fruit is the medicinal solution. It's probably pickled in a solution made with the roa fruit. I don't know if this is all interesting for you. How do they cook in the lands between? But I like this stuff, so you have to bear with me. What else did we get? Oh, we got Godric Knight gauntlets. Those are the guys with the plume, like in this helmet. Gauntlets worn by the knights loyal to Godric. Time has yet to dull their luster. That's good. So time isn't dulling their luster. That bodes well for them. I also got a war pick. Let's equip that so we can see what it looks like better. Yeah, so just assuming, you know, I don't know much about medieval combat, but I'm assuming that the war pick is, you know, shaped in such a way so that it could crack open a knight's armor and then, you know, get their flesh. But then you also have the hammer side in the back. I wonder if that's just to weight it or if someone would actually use the hammer when they were fighting. Battle hammer with a hard protruding beak, a pickaxe designed for combat, in essence. A simple but highly effective weapon, the weighty piercing attack casually rips through metal armor. Yeah, there we go. Okay, I didn't need to, you know, guess. They were just going to tell us. What else do we got? We also bought... Oh, I killed an owl. Poor me. And I got a slumbering egg. Owl eggs that will never hatch. It's curious. Why won't they hatch? Maybe we should think... We also had the crab eggs that said that they were the true delicacy. So something about eggs not hatching. Prized as a symbol of the most sublime slumber. That's related to St. Trina and her religion because they have the sleep pots. And the priests search for them in their slumber. And something about this egg will never hatch and related to the slumber. So now we have a connection between eggs and St. Trina and not hatching. What else do we got? Godric's Knight's Greaves, and then that's not that interesting. But Godric's Knight Helm is pretty interesting. We could see it kind of have like an ornate crests around it. It has a ashen plume. It looks very cool, to say the least. Helm worn by knights loyal to Godric the Grafted, adorned with a plume of withered ashen hair. I think Ken calls him, someone calls Godric old or something, so the withered ashen hair might have to do with that he's old. What else do we get? Oh, I think, yeah, Godric Soldier's Greaves. I'm not sure if we read this in a previous one, but just to be safe. Rust-worn and stained through unending conflict. That sucks. Sad for them. This was the big one. This is what I was really farming for, so let me equip it so I can show you what it looks like. Oh, not that one. This one. This, like, thing is way too heavy for me to use. But this is the Gilded Great Shield, and it's really, really good lore on this. So just by looking at it, kind of like, I don't know, there's banded spirals going up through all of it. Spirals straight up the middle and around. Kind of looks like another shield in the middle of the shield, but it kind of evokes a flower to me. But the spirals around this thing are incredibly interesting. And it reads... Metal great shield coated with gold, carried by knights loyal to Godric. The red tinge in the gold coat mirrors the primordial matter that became the Erd Tree, the color of homeward yearning. So red tinged with gold is the color of homeward yearning. So someone's home, maybe Godric's home, is red tinged with gold, but it's the primordial matter that became the Erd Tree. You know, when I think red, blood, you know? But red, I think blood. That's not a profound lore discovery. I'm just, you know, when I think red, I think blood. So I'm thinking like blood-tinged gold. And we also have like the beast blood glinting with gold, and that's Glimmer's blood that never rots or decays. And, you know, that's kind of like where my mind goes when I read that. So the primordial matter that became the Erd Tree. Primordial means, you know, absolutely ancient. It doesn't mean, I don't think it means like before time or anything like that, but it definitely means very old. So the primordial matter that became this golden perfect tree, which isn't so perfect anymore, and may not even be real based on the illusory trees, used to be red. So red matter, red gold matter, made the Erd Tree. Okay, what else do we get? We got a brass shield. Oh, let's equip that too, because there's a lot of interesting things on the brass shield. Oh, let's double equip it. Go up to a wall. If that doesn't work, let's go up to a wall. So it kind of looks like the front might have a snake or a dragon. It kind of looks like a snake. Kind of looks like snakes on the top too. Yeah, I'm seeing snakes there. But maybe a dragon? He has arms. I don't know if snakes have arms. Maybe we'll find out later. So this is a One on the larger side of a medium-sized shield, the face has been covered in brass, commonly employed in the shattering. It's interesting that a commonly used shield would have something. Yeah, it's totally a snake. That would have a snake with arms on it. So let's keep our eyes out for anything else that's appears serpentine in our journeys. And why that's common. This one was important too because I think I've been mentioning this, but I didn't have the item to talk about it. Armor worn by soldiers loyal to Godric the Grafted. It's the Tree and Beast surcoat. The surcoat depicts the distant Erd tree in the Beast region, an emblem of the Golden Lineage. Both are symbols of glory now past. So the Golden Lineage is glory now past. The Golden Lineage isn't very relevant anymore. It's not very prevalent. Godric is part of the Golden Lineage. He's Godric the Golden, but people call him Godric the Grafted. So it looks like the Golden Lineage has fallen from grace, shall we say. Their lineage has been tarnished. And it shows the distant Erd tree. So the location that we're in right now is far away from the Erd tree. That kind of ties with the homeward yearning. So it looks like Godric was driven from the capital. Oh yeah, we knew that. Ken says he was driven from the capital. He hid with the women folk. So Godric yearns to go home back to the Erd tree on the Altus Plateau, which we learned from the Dectus Medallion and the Rune 6 from last episode. And it's interesting that the tree and the beast on the surcoat are separated. Indicating that this is a sort of kind of alliance, that they're not, supposed to be, they're not naturally together, I should say. They're probably together in an alliance of some sort. And the reason I say it like that is, typically when you see heraldry that has two different symbols, it's supposed to imply unification between them. I only know that through Song of Ice and Fire, where the Robert Baratheon's reign, after he defeats the Targaryens, who were the blood of the dragon, and their sigil is the three-headed dragon, his sigil is that of a stag with a crown of antlers, and his wife is the Lannisters, which is the lion. So their sigil was the stag and the lion together in unification over the throne, when for the past 300 years it was just dragons. So we might be seeing a parallel between A Song of Ice and Fire and Elden Ring, where, perhaps the previous ruling power was dragons. Perhaps. We know that before the Erd Tree, I think from the Flame Drake Talisman, we have the ancient dragons who ruled in a prehistoric era before the Erd Tree. So dragons did rule before the Erd Tree, and now we have the Beast and Lion surcoat, which is showing the Erd tree and the lion together. So perhaps the lion is supposed to represent, maybe that's paralleling the Lannisters from A Song of Ice and Fire, and the tree is representing the Baratheons. So we'll see if this tree guy, we're not sure which side Godric is on. Is he, more tree, or is he more beast? We'll have to find out later. But that might be the parallel, that these two came together, tree and beast came together, and they defeated the dragons in some way, or took over from where the dragons were ruling. One important thing to note for the Targaryens, though, this is side topic. The Targaryens, when Robert Baratheon beats them in A Song of Ice and Fire, they don't have dragons anymore. Dragons had been dead for, I think, 130 or 150 years. So, they're essentially beating the remnants of this dragon empire. I also picked up the Lordsworn's shield, wooden tower shield, lightweight for a great shield and easy to handle, commonly used in the shattering, great shields, yada yada. Okay. Anything else that was interesting? I think that was it. Oh, I also started using, I didn't like using these swords anymore. I'm going to try and stay away from using great swords and stuff, but we picked this up from the chest outside of the Gatefront Ruins. Well-crafted straight sword with an illustrious design, wielded by regulars of a lord's army. So this is a straight sword, but it's also a great sword. We have to wield it with two hands, really, but I guess these guys hold it with one hand because they're strong, having a lot of grace. Though blackened and damaged by years of use, it appears to have otherwise been kept in a serviceable condition, despite the soldiers having long since lost their minds. So the soldiers are all mindless by, I guess the world shattering and them being unable to... But do we know if they're on... yeah, people can't return to the Erd Tree, I guess. There's all ghosts running around. I don't know if we know that people can't die yet. I don't know if we got there yet. Anyway, they're not dead, and they lost their minds, so they can't die. We can't die. Nobody can die, and they lost their minds. Maybe they should go to sleep. And I also put Sacred Blade on here, because it wasn't going to be as much damage as the other swords we had unless I buffed it. And I think I only... And I'm doing a Sacred Infusion, so it's going to be doing a little extra holy damage. Before we go and fight the Knights Cavalry, let's talk to Calais, because he's going to tell us something about Blythe since we met Blythe.
Ah, then you met Blythe, did you? Wonderful. I'm glad I pointed you in his direction. He's boorish, blunt.
Well, that's not nice.
I couldn't find his nose with both hands.
Right. So Blythe is stupid, but he's a good guy.
I think the two of you are sure to find the best in one another.
Excellent. And we're gonna... So is he calling us stupid too? He might be. We'll talk about Blythe in the future. But it's kind of funny that he calls him, like, he's a good egg, but he's kind of boorish and blunt. Like, he's calling him stupid. We'll point this out later when we get to it. But Blythe is most likely a stand-in or a reference to Jon Snow in A Song of Ice and Fire, who is also... he's a good guy, but he's also treated like he's an idiot, and you know nothing, Jon Snow. So I kind of think that's kind of funny that that characterization between the two characters persists between both these properties. I also wanted to bring up something that the plans for the series before it kind of goes live to public. You know, this is right now. This is members only. This is, I think, we're in episode 7, I think I said. And my goal is to release these videos publicly at a 3 a week. I'm thinking Monday, Wednesday, Friday for members. But when they go public, I am going to do that after I finish all of my Elden Ring lore videos. I was carrying a lot of stuff. I have a plan, and I've had a plan for how I wanted to finish out doing Elden Ring lore videos since I started with, like, in my first 3 videos, I kind of mapped out where I wanted my channel to go. So I wasn't planning on doing a series like this, but I feel like it would be, you know, kind of like a good send-off where I do my last lore video, and then I also have this entire series where we play through the game and we go through our thoughts. And then, you know, people who are members get to experience that first. So my goal right now, you know, if you're listening to this when it came out and you're one of the OG members, my goal is to have all of my Elden Ring lore videos done by December of this year, 2024. I don't know if I'll be able to do that, but that's my goal. Oh god, there's a lot of guys coming here. And I have an ending in mind, like an ending for not just like talking about Elden Ring lore, but like an kind of like a thematic or ending to my channel. It's essentially going to be the last Black Swordsman video will be the send-off. There's always been a complete story that I wanted to tell using Elden Ring, and the way I kind of like mapped it out in my head was kind of independent on whatever the DLC gave us. But thanks to what we got in the DLC, I think it will be enhanced. And I kicked the ass of that Knights Cavalry. We're talking about that. We got Foot Soldiers, Gauntlets from that guy, and Repeating Thrust, and Ash of War. The Ash of War grants our armament, Keen Affinity, Repeating Thrust, Twist to Build Power, and Unleash 30. We haven't learned really what Ashes of War are yet, but you know, just as a sneak peek, thanks to our prophetic powers, it's kind of like the remnants of battles long past. We'll learn that soon, but I just wanted to like get that out of the way because we're going to be picking those up, and we're going to be picking those up, and we're going to want to know what they're supposed to mean. So, you know, the Repeating Thrust must be something that was relevant to that Knights Cavalry. We have, over on the hill, we have a guy with a horn, and then we have this carriage pulled by 2 trolls with, oh gosh, spikes going through their chest. That doesn't look very, very good. We found treasure at the Gatefront Ruins on these things. I never actually looked at the carvings on these. They're supposed to be having knights and stuff with them, but they look like they're by themselves, so you just got to give them a smack, and then they should stop. Yep, they stopped. Yeah, the party that I was supposed to be with them is all the way back there. And inside the chest, we have a reward. So it looks like these guys are probably supposed to be bringing something to the Gate from Ruins, and we got the Great Axe. Great Axe, akin to a huge lump of iron, recognized as the weapon of choice of Badlands chieftains. Too heavy to wield by those merely ordinary strength. Blows from this axe will flatten enemies, and the force of its charge attack is a sight to behold. Well, the Axe Talisman boosts charge attacks, and so does from that minor Erd tree, they can boost charge attacks. And this also has Barbaric Roar, let loose a bestial roar to rally the spirit and increase attack power. So the Badland chieftains liked exalted flesh. They roar like animals. They roar like beasts. They're fond of axes. The Lord who led the Long March had an axe. So we're when we see an axe, we should start thinking axes, Lord of the Long March, an Erd Tree Faithful based on the items that the nomadic merchant was selling all the way down there. And what else? Oh, Horalu, chieftain of the Badlands, and this guy Horalu, who had a lion. Let's see, there was this ghost, and he's looking at the minor Erd Tree. Oh, sapling, sweet sapling of glorious gold. Has your crystal teardrop ripened? So this is supposed to lure us into going down there and exploring this region. I think we did a pretty good job of exploring everything down there, except for the well. We will get to the well. We'll get there. But he wanted us to go look at the teardrop, right? That's what he said, yeah. And he called it a sapling. That is a sapling. I guess that's the minor Erd Tree is a sapling Erd Tree. They're going to have a lot of Erd Trees soon. And he's also got these mushrooms growing around him. Mushrooms are used to make our throwing pots, the flesh of the mushrooms, and it's interesting that spirits, when they die or they just sit around, mushrooms grow. So spirits grow mushrooms, and we use mushrooms to make jars. To make pots. Another thing that's interesting to note here is got a lot of interesting stuff. We haven't really done much this episode, I feel like, but we're learning a lot. These skulls have grace in their eyes, and we know that the Tarnished lost, they don't have grace in their eyes, but this guy still does, even though he's dead. So we crack it open, and we get a golden rune. A little crappy golden rune, but I think that's just supposed to give us a hint on what grace is, and that it lives in the eyes. Let's see what these guys are up to. They are they're foot soldiers that are looking out. A gold pickled foulfoot. We remember that foulfoots are lucky for 4 feet. And I think this guy's screaming, indicating that he's still alive. Yeah. But he only screams at nighttime. And, nighttime, things change at night. Oh, there they are. They finally caught up, but I already took their loot. Things change at night, so something about nighttime is causing him to awaken and scream in agony. Oh my god, he's been burned and crucified, so yeah, we can see why he's screaming. That's not very pleasant. Let's look at the gold pickle foulfoot. 4-toed foot of a fowl, pickled in a golden medicinal solution, boosts the amount of runes obtained from defeating enemies for a certain duration. Since old times, the needy would scrap the meat clean, even from a fowl's claw. That's interesting, so since times of old, they would scrape the meat clean from a bird's foot because I guess they didn't have what they needed. It's interesting. When was that time? When was that needy time? I think we got a note talking about the Waypoint Ruins that we're coming up on. Someone lurks among the Waypoint Ruins on the roads through Limgrave, and here we are, the Waypoint Ruins. We could see that a giant piece of that fallen castle fell in this place. We have a mushroom. It glows at night. Our little poisonous plants, some glowstone. Oh, jeez. Wish I had a fire. Oh, wait. Duh. I'm saying I wish I had fire. I do have fire. So before we go down and explore the Waypoint Ruins, let's just look around here and see what they have. Time for sleep. Since it's a waypoint, most likely military waypoint, checkpoint between places, we haven't really seen much, many places in this area far away from the Erd Tree that people would live in. And I think that's probably on purpose. Why would people want to live far away from the Erd Tree? And now I'm poisoned. I don't think I have anything to cure that. I don't think I can craft anything yet either. Poison Bloom. that we found in poisonous areas. That's Erd Leaf, so Erd Leaf turned into Poison Bloom. So, you know, I think we did some theorizing that these might be born of the Erd Tree's leaves, and they can shoot light, and they're poisonous. So that's very interesting. Oh, jeez. If I die to freaking flowers, that's going to be embarrassing. But, so it looks like, you know, these are products of the Erd Tree in some way. I think the light's going to come down on us? No. Oh, I missed the critical attack. And they're called the man-eating Miranda flowers, and we saw the Erd Tree roots, so we're getting an indication that these are most likely related to the Erd Tree in some way. So what we get? Yeah, the Miranda Power and Poison Bloom. This kind of looks like Erd Leaf flower. See? Dripping deep with green poisonous liquid. Flower that grows in toxic terrain, and these are flowers that fed from Erd Tree leaves. So the Erd Tree leaves fell in a toxic terrain and bloomed into Poison Bloom. And these are the Miranda powders from the man-eating Miranda flowers. Throughout history, performers have prized this extremely fragrant form of Miranda pollen, not yet scattered into the air. And most likely they treasured it because of how similar it is to the Erd Tree. Looks like these guys were not too lucky. They were hanging out here, and then a big flower popped up and ruined their day. Got immunizing cured meat, cured strip of meat, dried out after pickling in green medicinal solution, temporarily boosts immunity. Higher immunity helps mitigate the buildup of various poisons, and scarlet rot. I don't know if that's our first knowledge of scarlet rot in the game. I think we heard the blight. Let's see, what did we? I think maybe on a map we learned about scarlet rot. No, that's our first. That is our first mention of scarlet rot. So, rot sounds worse than poison. Okay, this. We hear one of those pumpkin head guys in there, and he's gonna probably mess me up because, man, oh man, that poison stripped me clean. Can I handle the pumpkin head? I can. Oh no. Oh no, I don't actually think I can. I think the pumpkin head might end me. Woo! Woo! No! Oh jeez. How embarrassing. Oh, he's building up that bleed. Come on, let's get a heal off. There we go. He's the mad pumpkin head. So there's pumpkin heads who aren't mad yet. Alrighty. So was he living here or was he guarding something? Let's find out. Let's just look at this area before we open the door. Big chest. Coffin, pots. Oh, here's one of the birthing monuments. Do we have a light source? I don't think we looked at these yet. Oh, wait, you know what? Let me drop a glowstone so we can look at this real quick. Kind of squiggle and spirally. We'll see if anything else looks like that. And it kind of has like a little basin in there, it kind of looks like. A little basin. A little archway. See if we find anything else that kind of looks like that. I mean, we're going to find these everywhere, but we want to know who built these. All right, let's go see what our reward is. It's a person. Holy moly. Well, without talking to her, she looks like a wizard of some sort. She's studying crystals, these gems. She has a lot of books. Oh, goodness, she has a lot of crystals. Bottles, a lot of books. If only our character knew how to read. Whatever the hell that is. Hourglass. Maybe she's doing some, what do you call it? You know, she has to make a tincture and it has to take some time. Scrolls, tools. Very cool. A lot of stuff in here. Yeah, you could see that. Oh, she's also Is she eating or is that more rocks? I guess she's studying. Yeah, she's just studying a lot of rocks. All right, she keeps herself busy. And that mad pumpkinhead must have been here to protect her. And perhaps even the poison flowers outside were to protect her as well. Maybe she set this up. And we also see the Erd tree roots, or the great tree roots, whichever they are. Great tree. We'll go with great tree. I'm a great tree believer. The great tree roots are coming through here too. So let's talk to our little barefooted friend. Oh, also her, she's wearing a stone mask. She has, let's actually look at her more in depthly. She has a stone mask of a woman with a closed face. She kind of looks like she's sleeping. And there's green crystals coming out of her head. And she has a pendant, nothing special in there. And the robes are blue and red with a little gold trimming on it. All right, let's find out who she is.
Tarnished, are we? No wonder you should turn up here. I am Sellen, a sorcerer.
Right? Yep, kind of plain. She was a sorcerer named Sellen. So, why am I here? Well, she said she's a sorcerer. I want to learn sorcery. That's what I want to do. Yes. So this must be all glintstone.
I dare say your proclivities are far from ideal.
I guess she's calling us stupid.
Oh well, perhaps nurture will defy nature. With a bit of luck.
I have like 10
One
intelligence.
must choose
I should be
one's
smart
masters
enough.
Wisely. I was exiled from the Academy of Aio Lake.
Probably why she lives here.
As a reviled, apostate witch.
Uh-oh.
Do you still wish to learn from me?
So she was banished from the academy for being a witch. But, we don't really know much about her. We don't know what the academy's rules are. Maybe her being a witch really isn't that bad. But we're going to say no first. Let me reconsider and see what she says.
Yes. I think that would be wise. We must choose our masters wisely.
She doesn't really seem that upset about it. I mean, she wasn't expecting us to show up here anyway. She also has kind of like a headband too on her hair. Oh, it's kind of it's leaves. She has leaves on her. That's interesting. All right, well, I guess, the Erd tree is a big tree. People like trees. The tree stuff is going to show up everywhere.
Well, have you made up your mind?
Yes, teach me sorceries. I came here I need a bit more time to think. Actually, let's see what that says.
Yes.
Okay, no, same thing. Okay. All right. Even though I came here as a prophet who casts incantations, I want to learn sorceries too.
Well, you are a piece of work.
Yes, I am.
Very well. You are now my protege in glintstone sorcery. But I refuse to coddle or cast kind words. Never.
I can handle it.
Anticipate grievances, young apprentice.
All right. We learn nod and thought because she's very thoughtful. I don't have anything to cast these with, which kind of makes an issue here. Oh gosh, these are all so expensive. But I have to buy all of them. Okay. Oh, goodness gracious. All right, so let's learn some stuff. The sigil on here. This is Glintstone Pebble, the most basic Glintstone sorcery of the Academy of Aio Lake, and we can cast it with our 11 intelligence. I have 11 intelligence. I'm smarter than she thinks. The Glintstone serves as a conduit, launching magical projectiles at foes. This sorcery can be cast repeatedly in motion. This is a universal first step on the journey to true knowledge of sorcery. All right, so a pebble, and Glintstone serves as a conduit. Conduit for what? To launch magical projectiles. So the Glintstone is a conduit. I don't think we know a conduit for what, though. Glintstone stars. One of the Glintstone sorcerers of our Academy fire 3 magic shooting stars that pursue the target. Sorcery cast one motion. A sorcery of the Olivinus Conspectus, which attracts sorcerers from Sellia, town of sorcery. So there's a town that is attracted to the Olivius Conspectus, and they want to learn about Glintstone stars. This one doesn't say Glintstone serves as a conduit. So I guess maybe this is a conduit for stars, or maybe it's supposed to mimic stars or look like stars. And the Olivianus Conspectus. So there's different schools within the Aio Lake Academy that they study different things. Glintstone Arc fires a horizontal magic arc. The sorcery can be cast repeatedly, granted to sorcerers who depart from the academy to embark on journeys in order to fend up large groups of would-be adversaries. Fools often roam in packs. I think that's trying to say that sorcerers go on journeys alone. That's kind of sad. I guess, maybe that's a commentary on those who seek to find ultimate knowledge in the world may, push off others in camaraderie and find isolation from others. Being a know-it-all doesn't really get you much. That's pretty funny. And it's funny that it says granted. So the Academy is giving this to people that will embark on a journey. They're granting it to them. So the Academy must want people to go out and do research, but singularly. They don't want multiple people going out. We'll see if that's true. You know, yeah, maybe. But that's what it sounds like, because they don't want them roaming packs. Or maybe it's a sorcerers. Maybe the sorcerers are allowed to roam in packs. Packs is a lot, so maybe not. I don't know. We're spitballing here. One of the glintstone sorceries is Crystal Barrage. Fires a volley of glintstone crystal shards. So this is a little different than just a glintstone pebble. These are shards of glintstone crystal. A sorcery of the Crystal Cadre. A group of sorcerers who pursue the wisdom of stone. The secrets locked in the faint cognition of the Crystallians. Okay, so there's Crystallians who have the wisdom of stone, and they have faint cognition. So they're not really all there. These Crystallians are not all there, but they have the wisdom of stone. So they know something about stone. Have some wisdom in there. Gosh, she's giving us a lot of stuff. The Scholar's Armament. Enchants an armament right hand with magic affinity attacks. Taught to the Knights the Cuckoo by the Academy as payment for their contract. So the Academy paid knights. So that makes sense. I mean, mostly knights would be loyal to a lord because the lord owns the land. And to I guess, you know, to till on that land, to farm on that land, they would have vassals on the land for the lord. The lord would have their own vassals. And then those vassals might have their own knights. But the Academy most likely doesn't have any vassals as an academy with no lord. So they had to hire knights. So I wonder if these knights had their own lords, if they were like hedge knights. Taught to the Knights of the Cuckoo. There's birds on the Academy of Raya Lucaria, so those might be cuckoo birds. The cuckoo from Shakespeare, that's where the word cuckoldry comes from, which is when a cuckoo bird, they lay their own eggs in in another bird's nest, so they would raise their own birds. So another bird would raise would protect their eggs and stuff. So something about the Academy and the cuckoo bird and stealing and planting your egg somewhere where it shouldn't be. And they paid for a contract, so this was their payment for the contract, giving them magic powers to making magic swords. We'll try and learn what that contract is that the Academy paid for. And lastly, we have Scholar Shield, which is 4 shields, also as payment. We are going to buy... Oh, I actually would like to be able to use this. So we'll buy this. And I can't cast anything else. But we'll get Glintstone Pebble. Maybe I'll be able to cast that soon. And we got Nod and Thought. Alright. Let's venture forth. What do I need to level up? Not a lot. Okay. What do we need? What do we got? What do we need? So our next step... Ooh, we have some graves up top. It's interesting that there seems to be wolves at all these graves. I wonder... Yeah, there seems to always be wolves at these graves. Maybe not always. We saw one of them, but 2 of them have wolf packs here. So that's going to be interesting to note. Why are wolves at these graves? We also saw that Godric's Knights and the Cadence Sellswords can... they can train wolves. I don't think we've seen any dogs yet. No dogs, only wolves. And nothing new there. Alright, so let's look where we're going to go. We have the lake down there. That's going to be interesting to go to. And we have this up here. You know what? I think our plan to finish out this episode is going to be go up here and then go over here. And then next episode, we'll do all this stuff. Alright, sounds like a plan? Sounds like a plan. Alright. So let's see. We got these guys walking towards us. Oh, there's Grace over there. Oh, and a camp. Okay. All right. I'm going to hit the Grace, and then we'll be right back here. This is the Aio Lake South. I think one of the maps said this was... Oh, wait. Yeah, so this is Aio Lake South. and this is Aio Lake North. Firmly, this is Aio Lake. And Grace is telling us to actually go this way. We had Grace telling us to go this way, pointing us towards the castle to fight Godric the Grafted. But now we found more Grace telling us to go down that way. We're not going to go there yet. I said we were going to go up around and then go over there, so we're going to do that. A sorcerer and a standard bearer. I want to kill them because they might have something I want. Nothing. A sellsword on a horse. What do they have? So we have Godric's Knights banners, except not many Godric soldiers. It looks like the sellswords might be running this camp. There's actually 2 soldiers, no knights, and there is a sorcerer up there. So, you know what? Instead of taking it head on, let's go around and see. There's a Stake America, too. This is actually, I think, the most complete Stake America we might have seen. 1 braid, different than the other ones we saw, actually. Oh gosh, okay. You know, I'll talk about this later in another video, but, you know, remind me if I forget to bring this up, that this statue that we see her now with the 1 singular braid is different than the statues that we see of her in her crucified pose, where she has 1 braid and then the other's cut. And this is also the same statue that we see in the intro cutscene when the Tarnished are being awoken. Same shape. So remind me to talk about that if I forget. I probably won't forget. I'll talk about it when it's more relevant. But you know what? Oh, Magic Guy saw me. Let's see. Should we kill Magic Guy first? Yeah, we should. And then we'll pick everything up and then talk about them. So this Magic Guy is guarding the Royal House Scroll. We can see the beasts on here. So perhaps the beast is supposed to be, you know, maybe Godric's more beast than tree. Let's clear out this camp, and then we'll talk about our loot. It's interesting that the guys drop ruin fragments, just like the demi-humans do. I think it's supposed to say that, you know, maybe they're not as special or bright as you know, people like to say. You know, I think I talked about this in the last episode, but they're, you know, we're not so different. And when you guys lose your mind, you start acting like demi-humans. All right, before we open our treasure chest, let's look at what we got. We got some Caden armor. Can I wear that without being too heavy? Oh, I can. Oh, nice. We're looking cool. Can I put anything else on? Can I wear this hat yet? No. What if I take the shield off? If I take off the shield, I can wear it. All right, we're going to go shieldless. Can I put any other armor on? All right, what type of monstrosity am I? So we got the Caden armor. Armor worn by Caden sellswords, made with a pelt of a snow wolf, which protects against the cold. So we can tell that these guys come from a cold area far away from here. It's not that very cold here, and they're wearing wolf pelts. It also kind of has like scale on there, and then this crest is interesting on the front, the tapestry. Couldn't say what it was. But they're very practical, their armor. They kind of like have a mail underneath. Yeah. I guess this is leather. Some straps. I guess, what's the strap to hold? The strap is to hold perhaps actually, the strap doesn't look like it's holding anything. Maybe it's holding the wolf pelt. Anyway, it says, these hulking, fearless mercenaries said to hail from the mountaintops of the wintry north are adept at fighting on horseback. Caden is the name of their home settlement. I think we learned that already, but still nonetheless interesting. Then we have the Scroll of the Carian royal family, the heads of the Academy of Rhylocaria. So this actually has a different sigil. It looks like a sword and a staff, and it's different than this sigil. So the Academy of Rhylocaria has a different sigil than the royal family of the Carians, and this can give us Carrion Slicer and Glintblade Phalanx. So we're gonna open our chest, look at our treasure, and we got a Grand Epi. Can I use it? Nope, don't have enough dexterity. Gotta keep leveling up. Large rapier featuring a thin, sharp blade, commonly used in life or death duels. So, in this culture, there are people who are doing life or death duels. I wonder for what reasons. Like its smaller counterpart, is made for thrusting attacks and can be used while guarding with a shield. We'll see if we can use that in the future. So I said that we were going to end this episode with going over to that thing and doing all that stuff, but we'll actually end the episode giving the scroll to Sellen and going from there. So we can read the lore on those items. Here we have an item at this little bowl. I think it's an astro globe. It's supposed to look up at the scars and the sky. In this game, I don't know what it's actually used for. You know, I have no clue what they're really used for. But in this, they're used to collect starlight shards, an ephemeral sliver that gives off a pale blue glow, what remains of passing flash of starlight. A prized item that was once used in the Eternal City as an ingredient in intoxicating drafts. Okay, so these things are used to catch starlight shards. Starlight shards are slivers of a passing flash of starlight. So when stars would pass by, the flash could be collected and used to make intoxicating drafts. In the Eternal City, in real life, the Eternal City is Rome. You know, the Roman Empire may fall, but the city will stand forever. So the Eternal City was collecting these things, and it gradually recovers FP, which we use to cast our spells, like incantations and Glintstone. So that's very interesting that is something that they're into. You know what? I said we were going to do that next, but we're not. We're just going to go to Sellen. We'll save that for the next episode. I'm sorry, I'm teasing you all. I'm teasing you with things you already know will happen. But we want to give her the scroll. This episode's probably an hour already, so, you know, I can't keep you here all day.
Young apprentice. First things first. You are a tadpole when it comes to magic. Infantile.
I know, I don't even have a staff.
Without the legs to walk. So, to become a sorcerer, first, you must face your ignorance.
I'm faced in my ignorance that I don't have a staff.
Shall we start learning?
I could buy actually more from her, but maybe I'll want to buy this stuff. Here. Give the Royal House scroll.
Is that a scroll?
Yes.
Takes me back to my academy days.
Before you were banished as a
Very
witch.
well. This is sorcery with which I'm not entirely unfamiliar.
Okay, so she's familiar with Carian sorcery.
Into one of your lessons. Never lose that inquisitive spirit, my apprentice.
And that's what this whole series is about. We're inquisitive. We're asking questions. We're trying to figure things out. So, just as I mentioned before, we can see it has a different sigil between the two. It's very visible now. This one has the cuckoo birds. Looks like the sun in the middle. Some flowery ornamentation. This one has more flowery ornamentation. A bunch of runes around the top. It looks like a lock on the top and then like infinity on the bottom. And I can't tell what the left and right are. And then a sword and a staff in the middle. And this is two sword sorceries. These are from the Carian royal family. Creates a defensive... This is a glint blade phalanx. Creates a defensive arch of magic glint blades overhead, which automatically attack nearby foes. Bestowed upon the enchanted Carian knights, so of course royal family should have knights, and they're enchanted, who combine this art with their swordsmanship to maintain pressure upon their foes, striking in waves of steel and sorcery. So the Cuckoo Knights, the Knights of the Cuckoo, were just learning about how to make their own swords magical and their shields magical, and that was given to them as payment. But the Knights of Caria, this royal family, they can cast these powerful spells. Actually, how much more intelligence do you need? So you only need 12 intelligence to cast these, but this one needs 22. So the Knights of Caria are much smarter than the Knights of the Cuckoo, just based on how much they need to cast it. And it makes sense, I guess, why the Carian royal family has a sword and a staff in their sigil. I guess it's supposed to tell us that this is kind of like a warlike royal family. You know, they probably got their royal... they're royal for a reason, and their knights are really strong. They're enchanted knights. So the Carians must be a house that has some magical powers able to bestow upon their enchanted knights, allowing them to be royal. Very interesting. And this is the Carian Slicer. Conjures a magic sword, mostly likely out of the staff. I don't have a staff right now. And delivers a swift, sweeping slash. Even among the Carrion sword sorceries, this is a notably effective technique. Cool. So this one's notably effective, and we'll buy it. Now we know a Carrion sorcery. I can't do anything with it. Oh, and then we'll ask her about Glintstone sorcery, talk about it, and then we'll end the episode.
Our art draws upon the powers embedded in Glintstone.
Okay, power embedded in
But
Glintstone.
what is the nature of such power?
Do tell.
Glintstone is the amber of the cosmos.
Okay.
Golden amber contains the remnants of ancient life and houses its vitality, while Glintstone contains residual life and thus the vitality of the stars. It should not be forgotten that Glintstone sorcery is the study of the stars and the life therein, a fact lost on most sorcerers these days.
Golly gee. I hope you guys made it to the end of this episode so we can talk about what she just said. Glintstone is the amber of the stars. The Glintstone is the amber of the cosmos. Golden amber contains the remnants of ancient life and houses its vitality. Golden amber, that's most likely the golden amber of the Erd tree. So the Erd tree contains remnants of ancient life, that primordial life that we learned from the Gilded Great Shield. It's all coming back together. And houses its vitality. Vitality as in health. I think vigor is how you increase your HP, but in previous games it was called vitality. While Glintstone contains residual life. Residual means what is left behind. And residual life, when I would, thinking of the duality in this game, we see spirits exist. So the golden amber contains remnants of ancient life and its vitality. So the golden amber contains the physical, while Glintstone contains the residual. What is left after its vitality is gone? You have the soul. And that is the vitality of the stars. So she's really telling us a lot. It should not be forgotten that Glintstone sorcery is the studies of the stars and the life therein. So there is life within the stars, and that life is the residual life, the spiritual. So it's very interesting. It looks like life in this world, perhaps, comes from the Erd tree, the golden amber. That's where life comes from. But the soul comes from the star. So that's all actually, that's pretty interesting stuff. All right, this was a jam-packed episode. We talked about a lot of items. We fought a boss. We got some lore. We learned a bit how this world works, and I gave you a little meta perspective on what this channel will look like moving forward. But you guys are on the cutting edge. You know before anyone else does. So let us nod in thought and think about what we learned today. And until next time, let's do the thing.